Alright, I think we're good to go. Let me double check. Alright. Put a little background music on here. Hey, what's up there, Master? See what I can put together here. Trying to do something. It's meant to stream a little sooner, but you know, it's Christmas. What can you do?
Don't worry, Dad. Don't worry, Dad.
And my son got some walkie-talkies, so if you hear that going off,
I might just go outside.
that's
Pass me the walkie.
all right. So let's see. We last left off. We got our tested mic frequency in there, and then we also have what else we get? Oh, ladder randomization for player one. That's where we're at now because that does it does a few things. I'm still trying to figure out the sequence in its entirety because it pulls up a couple different arrays. I'm not quite sure what the second one's for. That's what we gotta find out.
Can you hear me? Not anymore.
There we go. Let's see if, you know what, let me, let's see, left display. Let me see if I can set this up so I could get my bottom display. Let me add another display in here. Let's see if I can get my hex editor on the stream. Alright, let's see. Yeah, for some reason it's only seeing my left or my center screen. I think it's just because I've got two graphics cards and they each have their own display. So I think that's probably why it's not showing up in OBS. But anyhow, let's get started. Yeah, my son's got walkie-talkies for Christmas, so and he's got a new PC that he got for Christmas. So I told him to walkie-talkie me if he's got any problems, and it seems to be just a conversation that he likes to have through the walkie-talkie.
I am.
Alright, so let's see. See if I got this right here.
I'm playing Stardew Valley. What are you?
Alright, so we've got a couple arrays, like I was saying. Let's see if we get the right spot here. Alright, so we've got 132. That's going to be pretty much our base address for our RAM. Where we're going to store our random ladders, because what we're going to do is
You're cool, Cam.
if you look at
Maybe.
Alright, so what we got here is the usual, the normal ladder layout is, this is a structure here, and let me turn this down a little bit. So what we're going to have is we're going to have one fight, two fight, three fight. Then we're going to have a test your might. Then we're going to have three more fights, then a test your might, and then we're going to have a mirror match, and then we're going to have endurance match, another test your might, endurance match, Goro and Shang Tsung. So what we're going to do here is we're going to randomize the opponents. We're going to randomize also the endurance matches and the endurance or the opponents within the endurance matches, and then also at the same time we're going to check for the option for the frequency of test your mights, and we're going to inject those if it's time to inject them. So that's part one. Part two, there's another one that goes off and it grabs another array that looks like it's character ID based, and I've yet to figure out what its use is, but hopefully we'll figure that out tonight. Okay, so I'm not sure where I left off the other day, but it looks like we are crashing at the moment, so it's probably because it's incomplete. Yeah, okay, so we have match. Okay. Alright, let's get a save state and see what's going on there. I think I know what it is. I don't believe we have... Yeah, so we don't have our full match laid out yet. We don't have endurance, we don't have test your might, and we don't have our third endurance after that. So that's why we're crashing right now, because it's trying to create those images on the ladder screen, but it's not seeing all the matches. Christmas is good, Mariano. We just had some dinner. Nice Christmas ham. So we're all pretty stuffed. We're happy, cozy. What more could you ask for? Alright, so it's an endurance match. The way they normally do the endurance matches, I think they run values 10 or plus. 10 plus, greater than 10. So if it's 10 or greater, it's going to equate that to an endurance match. And then it's going to go to another lookup table, which is character ID based as well. And it's going to do a... at that point, it's going to do a randomizer, a number. and then it's going to pull 2 opponents from there. So this is a fairly complex way that they've done it. I mean, it's simple, but it seems like it's multifaceted. There's like 3 different depths of layers that they got. And, you know, we're just complicating things more by making it completely random and then pulling in another option for test your mic frequency. So yeah, but not a big deal. Should be able to get this without a problem. Alright, so the first step's already done for the most part. We're randomizing our first what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opponents, and then our mirror match. So what we have to do now is we got to do we're going to randomize our endurance matches. And then let me double check to make sure we have our option checked here for our frequency. I think we do, but gotta refresh myself here. Okay, so yeah, it is indeed in place. Pretty much we default with 3. Every 3 opponents will do a test your might afterwards. But if our option is on for more frequent test your mites, it'll actually go to 2. So every 2 opponents it'll do it. Alright. See, wrong button there. Alright, so 132.080 is where our new one, two, three. Okay, so I have a mirror match. Just trying to get my my bearings right here. Yeah, mirror match, then 2 endurance matches. Let's see, a mirror match. Okay. Just trying to get a visual here if how things would line up if it was every 2 matches. So I know I won't have any unexpected surprises here. Okay, so currently we got 1, 2, we've got 3. In the standard test your might frequency, we have 3 test your mites and then 1 player ladder. If we go down to 2, we'll have 4. And if I'm not mistaken, we have 5 materials. Let's double check. It would be nice to have all the materials in 1 ladder. That would be nice. Let me do a search here for this. Wood, stone, steel, ruby, and diamond. Yes, so. How do we put that? How would we do that? We can probably do. You know what sounds good? Let's do it after Goro. We can do we can make sure I'm thinking about this right. Okay. Alright, so it should work out pretty good. Alright, so we've got our opponents and our mirror match. Now we have to do our endurance matches, like I said. And the way it normally does is it has a value of 10 or higher. It'll know it's an endurance match, and then from there it will calculate and randomize an endurance match based on a character ID because it doesn't want to pull endurance matches where you have your opponent would be your fighter. So no duplicates. Alright, so we're not going to base this on the original ones because if I show you here, let me show you the original original endurance tables. Endurance matches, I believe this is probably it. Alright, here we go. So this is alright, our array endurance matches character index. So say for instance for Johnny Cage. These would be our possibilities of matches. And they're going to be one word each for each character. So this would be a 1 endurance match possibility. This would be a 2nd endurance match possibility. So you see we have 3, 4, 5, 6 different possible endurance matches. And it just rolls a dice between 0 and 5 there, and it picks 1 for us. What we want to do is we want to completely randomize the opponents because as you see here we don't have all the combinations. I don't think we got 1, 2, 3, 4. But we don't have a 3-1. We don't have a 4. We do have a 4-1 here. But there's other scenarios that we don't have, like a 6-1 or a 6-4. So there's combinations of fighters that aren't being seen, and our randomizing is going to make that possible. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure why they didn't put the ninjas together, but the ninjas are 4 and 5, so you don't see any 4 or 5s put together yet. Yeah, I don't see any 4 or 5s. You got 0, 4, and then you get 5, 6. So I mean that's what we're gonna improve though. We're gonna make it so it's completely random. No more static matches. Alright, so let's go back to our RAM here. This is all the RAM mapping that's been done. And I believe I've already did endurance, endurance. Okay, so this is where we're going to create our endurance. We're going to store our endurance matchups here right off the get-go. And the way they normally do it is they have duplicates, but not of your fighter. So you can have Johnny Cage and Kano one match, and then you can have Johnny Cage and Sonya the next match. So that's fine. I mean, I don't see a big deal with that. As long as we don't have duplicates we're not fighting ourselves, and both fighters aren't the same fighter, I think would be alright. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll make this simple because instead of just using just a 10 or higher ID to make it a random or an endurance match, we're just going to take 10 or higher, but we're going to use it as an offset in our RAM to pull the location of the endurance fighters that we want, because we're going to have 3 endurance matches. So for instance, we'll do like 10 on the first match, and then we'll do let's see, we're going to need 20, 30. 30 on the next match. We're just lining up. Test your might here. That's going to be an F. So we'll move the test your might in there. Where are we at? To A1? Actually, no. Okay, that's right. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Yep. Basically, this is going to be like 10, 30, 50, because that's just going to coincide with our RAM offset, so we get our right values for our fighters. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Alright, so we should have a legitimate ladder there. What I'm not sure what to expect is what's going to happen, say, if we have more endurance or more test your mights in there and it kind of makes more matches on the ladder. I don't know if we're going to have a problem or not, but we'll find out, I guess. Alright, so when we're randomizing this ladder here, at the same time when it's time to do this endurance match here, we probably want to go down and do, yeah, we're going to want to go down and do a routine for create random endurance. And RAM, okay. So we'll call that every time. Actually, we can only just call it one time. That's all we need to do. We don't need to call it every time we make the match in the actual ladder itself. Because there's going to be two segments. Like I said, there's going to be one for the actual ladder lineup, and then there's going to be one for our endurance opponents. So at the end, we can just say, we'll call create random endurance and RAM, and that'll be that. The good thing here is at the end of this, all the registers are already used. Well, they're freed up pretty much because we have no more use for the ones that are currently being used for our generation going on, so we can just use whatever we want. And let's see, let's do what is that? CRAM. Forgot what to name that. Random endurance list. There we go. So we'll put that in A1. That's gonna, like I said, that's gonna be the location that we're putting these in RAM. And then I believe A9 should hold. Yeah, A9 still should hold our current ID for our character. So A9 is going to be valuable for us to see if we got duplicates. So we can do like another, let's do like another subroutine here. Let's do, get random opponent maybe. And what we're going to do here is going to move the opponent list, and then we're going to get a random number. So it's going to give us a value between 0 and 6, and those are going to be all of our opponents. So I don't know if Reptile's going to come into play here. Maybe if he's unlocked, should we add Reptile to the ladder? If we were, this would be a spot to do it in. Merry Christmas, Javi. So we can come back to this and add Reptile or increase it if we have more people. And then after we get it, we'll compare A0 to A9 to runtime if equal. We'll go back up and get random opponents. So it's going to make sure it's going to get a random opponent that is not the same character that we have. And it's going to be put into A0. Alright, so simple would be just to take that A0 and move it to A1 and then increment and do it again. But what we also want to do is want to make sure that the other opponent, his teammate, is not the same as the first guy. So let's take that A0, let's slide that over to A2. And then what we'll do is we'll move A0 into A1 into position of the first guy, and then we can call the get random opponent again, and then we'll compare A0 to A2. And we'll just make a little jump here called get opponents teammates, and if it's true, we'll jump back up and we'll get another teammate because we don't want the teammates to be the same. But if they're not equal, we can go ahead and move that into RAM, and there's one match. So that's pretty much all there is to that. I'm thinking if there's anything that needs to be done. I'll have to call this total of 3 times. We can either do like a loop, or we can just simply do this. I mean, honestly, it's only 4 words of code, and it's a lot simpler to understand. So we'll go with that for now. Alright, so if Reptile were to be unlocked, let's say for instance, move 40 in AO, we'll get option. If he's unlocked, we'll use him. If not, we won't use him. Sorry, I didn't catch what that alert was about. I don't know if that was a subscription or a donation or what, but I appreciate it. So what we'll do is we'll move. Let me move OBS off the screen here because OBS is kind of in the bad setup here. I can't see the chat and OBS at the same time in that one monitor, but that'll work. Alright, so check if reptile is unlocked. I'm gonna name this differently so I don't get my jumps similar. And all right, so it's gonna be 7 if there's no reptile. So jump around time if equal, grab random number. Actually, I can use move. Move. Now let's stick to move I. I don't know why, but it seems like whenever this is called, it's always intermediate move instead of a constant. I don't know if just the hardware likes it better, but I mean, I would like to use move K because it's pretty much one word instead of 2, but we're not really hurting for words, and I know this is definitely compatible. Alright, so reptile's unlocked. We're gonna move 8 into the random the clamp range from 0 to 7, and he'll have a possibility of being in the endurance matches. And I could probably do the same for. Yeah, I can do the same also for. Let's see right here. So this is the same thing. We can do the same thing here. We can put reptile in the regular ladder as well. So we'll get option. The one thing I got to double check those when I run back through here is to make sure these registers aren't overwritten when it goes through there. I don't think they are. I'll have to double check. We can actually do. Okay, never mind. We'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so he'll be in the ladder now. I just added that piece, so he'll be in the ladder. Alright, so that should create our IDs and our ladder for our endurance. They're going to be 10, 30, and 50. Because we're still going to abide by the original rule that the game has, that if the ID is 10 or higher, it's going to know it's an endurance match. And from there we're gonna continue this piece here, and this is where it's gonna get those endurance matches from RAM at 132, 0, 100. Uh, well, I had 4 monitors, master. I have 3 now. I gave my son one with his new PC for Christmas. So he's got one of my 24-inch monitors. But I'm thinking of upgrading to a 1440 or something. Maybe a 4K. I don't know. I don't do a lot of gaming. Lately I've been playing one game quite a bit, and I kind of want to do just 1440 just for that game. But as far as productivity and doing this, a 4K would be really nice. Alright, so let's plug this in. We're not complete yet, but we're gonna plug it in just because I want to get a good break point on where we're at. And go from there. We may have to, yeah, we totally have to relocate this because this has gotten pretty long. It's probably going to go a little bit longer, so we definitely have to relocate this. And this is ladder randomizer. You guys can't see me, but I'm on my hex editor. So I'm removing the old code where it used to be. And that's good. We'll just update our jumps here. So 84,000, that's 2,800. It's 1. Yeah, we'll get a second jump and then we'll run it and see what else we have to do here. Alright, so we've got 4-2. Let me double check where this is at. Okay, so this is, yeah. So this is the area where it goes and it gets your opponents in your endurance match. So that is going to be endurance randomizer way down here, which isn't done yet. So that's probably why it's crashing as well. But we don't have to hook it yet. In fact, we'll leave it out, and we'll build this and see. We'll get a feel of how it's working and what we have to improve, and the next spot to do. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, let's just put a break on this and watch how our ladders are being built in RAM here. Just to make sure they're going as planned. Alright, so we'll just select Liu Kang. Okay, so it's going to check our option. Here, let me increase the size of this so you can see it a little bit better. It's going to check our option for randomizer. It's going to get our character ID for whatever side is playing, so we know not to do duplicates of it. And right now it's formatting the RAM. Alright. I had to plug my headset in. Alright, so formatting the RAM's done. Let's see, we're going to clear our counter, A5. It's going to check to see our test your mic frequency. It's on for more frequent, so it's going to only put 2 in there. Check for reptile here. And it's going to build our ladder. Let that build. We'll put a breakpoint here. Oops, looks like we had a problem. Let's go back and see what it is. Probably had a never-ending loop or something crazy like that writing. Alright, save state. Alright, let's try to figure out where we took a wrong turn here. There's 1 opponent, 2 opponent, test your mites. 3 opponent, 4 opponent, test your mite. Okay, so there is our next opponent. And it's going to check our frequency of our test your mite, and they are the same. So we're going to insert a test your mite in there. And then we're going to clear our counter. And we're going to do a compare to 132.080. Oh, there we go. Hold on, let's see, 132.080. Oh, I see. So the test your mite frequency is going to throw that off by about 10. So we probably got to change that compare to less than. What's it right now? Equal? Okay, so yes, we want to. So we want less than because it's going to keep doing the. See, 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay. I don't think it's going to matter for the first one because we're using that same address comparison for our normal matches, and then we're using it again for after those are generated, just as a stopping point for the loop. So less than should probably work in both cases. Just that test your mite frequency option is going to throw it off 10 here, 10 there, just because it's adding one more match in there, one more test your mite. Alright, so we'll do it here is we'll just do a little hotfix here, and we'll load our state again. So we're at C4 DB. So there we go. There's that. And it should go back to... Okay, so yeah, now we got a valid breakpoint. It stopped that time, so we're not in that infinite loop anymore. So you see we have 5, 3, test your might, 0, 7. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. Yeah, that's not going to work for Reptile. Put him in there because 7 is actually the ID of Goro. So we have to do that another way. We'll figure that out another time, but for now, let's just make sure it works. So we'll take that out because Reptile is not ID number 8. Okay, but we have that fix in here, and we have that also corrected. So let's go ahead and put that back in. Let's rebuild and launch it again. Alright, so that's that. Let's go back over to set RAM, and we will get, where's our breakpoint we want? We want this one here. This would be great. Actually, let's do one more down. Alright, so there's our 3, 5 test your might, 1, 4 test your might, 2, 6 test your might, and then test your might. And then from here, we're going to put our mirror match, which is designated by ID number 8. And then we'll put 10 in. That's going to designate a endurance match. 30 would be our next. And then we'll have an endurance or a test your might. 50. And then that is... What is that? That should be 7 or 8, right? For Shang-Tsung and Goro? 6, 6, 7. This is... Okay. So for some reason, I'll show you here. Like, for instance, this is a ladder. You see you have opponent 5, opponent 4, opponent 3, then a test your might, and so on and so on. Well, what's weird about it is they designate ID 6 for Goro and ID 7 for Shang Tsung. But the problem is that if you look at it from a character index perspective, 6 is Sonya Blade. So I'm not sure why they do it like that. But we'll roll with it and see what it does, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think I was going over that the other day. See it here. This is Goro being moved in, and then Shang Tsung, and then the Terminator. Then our opponent list is actually right here. Not our opponent list, but our endurance list starts at 132, 100. So you can see with the increased test your might, it did push it forward 10. But the good thing is when we're using our match IDs for our endurances, we're going to use our IDs as our offset. So we're going to do that ID plus the base location, which should give us the location of where those endurance opponents are going to be stored. Hey, you're welcome, Tektronix. Alright, so let's continue on and see. We're at this point now in the list. Make sure this is going the way it's supposed to go. So we're going to put our base location A0. Or it's our ladder location. And then we'll do create random endurance in RAM. So let's see how this goes. I already see a problem. So what we got here is we're calling this 3 times, but we're reverting to our base location every time. So it's gonna just write. It's gonna do it 3 times, but it's gonna write it 3 times in the same spot. So what we're gonna have to do is probably we can move this out, move it right there, and that should fix that problem. But let's go through this just for shits. We'll see. Randomizer number, okay, it's going to be 2, who's 2? Luke, oh, Raiden, okay. So it's going to move Raiden into A2, because that's going to be the first guy. So we're going to use A2 as a comparative, just to make sure we don't have a duplicate. And it actually moved that into A1 as well. We'll have to move that down. The base has to be pushed down a little bit because it can't be that close. With the frequency, test your mic frequency option is going to push in, hold that by 10, and I got to move it down just a little bit. Alright, so Yep, doing exactly what I thought. Okay. Alright, so what I'll do is we'll go down here to, we'll just offset this. Let's do 140 just to be safe. We'll push it down 40. And let's see, to get that to recalculate, we'll just call our list there to Alright, so let's run that again and see what we got. And after this is done, then we can do the part where we actually pull in our values. We seek our values, we get them. Alright, so we get a breakpoint there because we know that's good. Alright, so we got our list populated here. But, hold on. Okay, that's 30, not 3. I was just looking up here and I thought we had a duplicate fighter, but that's actually 30. Alright, so let's go back down to the debugger here and step through this just to make sure everything goes as planned. And so randomize a fighter, it's going to be 4. 4 is not equal to A9 because A9 is our character, so that's good. We can set that aside. and write that as our first opponent, and then we'll randomize another one, and it's going to be 3. 3 is not equal either, so we will put that as our second opponent. We will return, and then you can see we have 4 and 3, which we have Scorpion and Liu Kang here. So Scorpion, Liu Kang. Then we'll just jump this next call, and it looks like we'll have Raiden and Scorpion. And then if we jump the next one, looks like we'll have Raiden and Sonya. Okay, so just making our 3 random matches, or endurance matches. So that's good. Alright, so it's got that. So next thing we gotta do is we gotta intercept that when it sees a match that is 10 or higher. You gotta hook into that and make it pull those values from RAM instead of the ones that are static on the ROM. And if you look on the debugger, you'll see that's exactly what happens here. It's looking for test your might. It's looking for the termination of the ladder, and then it's looking for 10. And if it's greater than or equal, it will jump down here to 2A30, and that will be where we're going to intercept to do our get our values that we just wrote into RAM for our random endurance opponents. And that's going to be here. Let's see, A into A2. So this is the return. And A2, A and B, okay, jump to 2A70. Okay, so that's all good. So this is the return point if it's off, but if it's on, let's not make, let's get endurance matches. And then after this, we can jump back to FFCB. A3 and the AO. Okay, so we gotta make sure AO is gonna have our value before we jump over to 2860. Okay. FFCB 2860 is going to be our jump back, but like I said, we got to make sure AO holds. Opponent ID. And we also have to move our secondary opponent into RAM as well. Alright, so AO is going to hold our ID value of our match ID. So it's going to be our offset we're going to use. So what we'll do is actually let's pull from that stack before that, because then we'll add our CRAM endurance. Oh, random, okay. Random endurance list. So we're going to add that up there, and that's going to be the location. That's going to be the location where our values are stored. And all we have to do is we'll just pull the value at the AO into A4. Move A4 into endurance second opponent. and then we'll move. Actually, no. Let's make that our first opponent. I believe that's how they do it. I guess it really doesn't matter. I guess it's random anyways. You're not gonna see who your opponents are gonna be in what order. All right. So in that case, we'll move AO into AO. And then once we return, I'm pretty sure AO is going to move. Yeah, 2860 is where we're jumping. We're jumping right back here. And it's going to move that into our opponent's character ID address. Alright, so let's go over this before we write it into ROM, just to make sure there's nothing, no mistakes that we see. Actually, is this one used at all? Yeah, I don't think so. That one's not used at all. Planned on using it, but that was not the way we did it. So that should be it. But there, I'll show you the other secondary array, which we still haven't covered yet. Not sure what it's used yet, but it's used. Definitely used in the game. I think it's like a check just to make sure there's no, you don't fight yourself, or I don't know. It's kind of odd. To A30. Let me put these hooks in here real fast. We got 3080, so we got. A3080 FF82. Okay. You guys hear some video games in the background. That is my daughter playing. Stardew Valley, I believe. Alright, so that's that. Strong game. Alright, I'm just gonna run with it here and see what happens. Oh, that happened. That's no good. Let's take a look here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what happened there. Something I didn't like after making the ladders. Probably those IDs I put in there. You know, the 10, 30, 50 ones. It's probably, so what we'll do is we'll come down here. We will put a breakpoint there. Okay, so that's our main ladder. And there's our endurance matches. And moving from memory, SPA5 and A6. Let's make sure those are. Okay, there they are. Move to memory A5 and A6. Okay, just checking. Because A6 is important. A6 is going to hold our the location to store our opponent's ID at. Oh, I see. A0. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, A0 is important. We omitted it. But we're going to need that because A0... Let's go back there because something was a little different. Okay, so A0 is there now. And we lose it there. Okay. So, what we have to do here is we can simply, instead of pushing A0 to the stack, pulling it back, we know what our not random endurance, random opponent list, I believe it is. We know what the location is, so we can just plug it in right there. Alright, so let's do that again. 30, update this one jump here, and then copy that code over. Alright, so let's go down here. Let's make a breakpoint at the end of it. Alright, so that's where we lose our A0, and that's where we get it back. And there's our opponent. This is the secondary array right here I'm talking about. I got this routine labeled tower get next opponent ID, which is strange because it already got the ID way up here, which is 0. So this this fighter should be Johnny Cage that we're fighting against. A7 and A2. You know, I'm not even sure if A7 is original or if it got overwritten in the custom routine. I don't recall using A7, so I'm going to say no. So it's using 3. 3 is probably... We got Liu Kang, right? Okay, so A7 is holding our current fighter's ID. Okay. It's good to know because I think if we go back to this piece of code way up here, we can probably get rid of getting the current ID in A9. And probably get rid of that code, and then all we have to do is compare A7 to A0. Anything that says compare A9, we can probably switch that since it's already going to be in A7. But it's not a big deal. Alright, so it's going to get... So that's what it's doing. It's getting another ladder based on our character ID. It's $31.40, which is $33.70. And if you go over here, we've got oh, here it is. FFCB 33 cents. This is the third index, so we got 0, 1, 2, 3. So it should be 0, 1, 2, 3. And these are the numbers it's going to pull for Liu Kang. It's going to pull, it's pretty much from 0 to 8 minus the ID that your character is. So you'll see that there's no 3 in here. And it does that for everybody's. Not sure why they have that like that, since they've already got static ladders right above it. I mean, they've only got 4 static ladders, but I guess they could have made one for each of them. Oh well, we'll just see what we can do with it. So pull the ID into A0. Oh, and that's the actual fighter that it's going to get. I see. I see. Okay, so I thought this might happen, so what I did was I left all of this intact, but I commented it out just in case I had to come back to use it if this secondary ladder was something I was going to need, which it seems like it is, but I just don't understand why they did a primary ladder with the fighter IDs and the test your mites in there and endurance IDs and stuff like that, just to have another one. Seems like they could have just consolidated it all and made it simpler, but okay. So what we can actually do here, we can also, before I go back and do this, because this does seem a little redundant to use, we can come back here and we can put these, we can just copy the bytes in here and just actually jump over all that redundant code, it seems like anyways. I mean, maybe it is useful. I'm just not seeing it right now. But it's a branch still. It still branches if we have, you know, if we don't have that randomizer on it, we'll branch off and go back to where it should be. Which would be right here, get original ladders. So let's do that. Let's 750, we're jumping back to 105.19 FO. Let me make sure that's being stored. At 2750. Alright, just in case, we'll do we'll move that in there. We won't jump to 2750, but in the end we'll jump over that and we'll go FFCB 2860. Okay, and you know what? Since we are doing it this way, we won't have to have another hook for the time when it comes to get the endurance match either, because we can compare and check for it right inside here. Let's call this return with new opponent ID, because we're going to jump back up here. Alright, so we move our fight ladder up there. And okay, pretty simple. And we'll move our fight ladder position into A1. We'll slide that left by 4. And then we'll add A1 into A0, and we'll get our ID for our fighter or our tester might, whatever it may be, to A0. And we'll do our compares with compare F to A0. 28 BO is, let's see. Okay, so we'll just do jump to address if equal to FFC CB 28 BO. And we're going to check for the end of the ladder and AO. Jump to address if equal FFCB 2890. And then we'll check for 10, which is going to be our endurance match. Jump to run time if greater than or equal. And that's going to be so we can get rid of all this because our randomizer option is already going to be on if we're inside this. FCB 2860 was where we were jumping back before, but now we can just jump to return with new opponent ID. We can jump to runtime. Alright, that's that. We can get rid of this stuff. Actually, we'll go paste this back in the ROM before I forget. FFCB 2A30, let's make sure that's the right jump. Yep, okay, so we'll revert that, and we got 4CO2. For EEO and OD. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's OD3F because it is a relative routine. And we can go up here, we can get rid of this. Oh look, something's a little off here. Let me make sure. 2A30, yeah, that's good. Okay, so all that's good. So we'll take that off. Don't need it now that everything is all the same. Jumped in. We don't need this either. 2B90. A2, I'm just double checking my bytes here. 4CO2, 4EO, OD3F. Okay, so we won't need that. We won't need that. Just a little bit of optimization here. So if it's 10 or greater, we're going to jump to endurance randomizer. Actually, we should probably call it something else. We will name it get random endurance opponent. There we go. All right, so if everything goes as it should, we should only have one hook here, and everything's gonna be integrated into that. And when it's 10 or higher, it should stay within our same custom routine and grab an ID for our endurance guys. So let's try that out, and let's make sure that I restored or reverted that that change the correct way. You guys falling asleep yet over there? Are you guys keeping up? You guys are quiet in the chat tonight, that's for sure. Christmas dinner got you guys sleepy. I know I felt like taking a nap after eating. Alright, so let's run it and see what we got. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. Alright, so if you take a look, we've got our normal ladder. Opponent, test your might, opponent, test your might, opponent, test your might. Mirror match, endurance 1, endurance 2, test your might, endurance 3, Goro, Shang Tsung. And then down here we have our endurance opponents. And look at that, we have Liu Kang, Sonya, then Sonya, Liu Kang, then Liu Kang, and Kano. Did I miss a beat there? Let me double check. Something is a little off. 105.19 FO. Okay, so that is pulling. That's got our correct ladder address there. Am I forgetting? Where's my stack at? Is my stack good? Oh, you know what it is? That's what it is. When there's going to be another hook. I bet you. When it's creating the ladder here for the portraits, the hook is going to be looking at it's going to be looking at these values here, and it's not going to find a value for 30 or 50. Let's see, 132 00 BO, and we'll put a read point on that. Also, we'll do CODO. AO, let's try AO as well. Oh, we're crashing before that. Mike's awake. What's up, Mike? Mike's here, everybody. Alright, so I think this is where it's going to... Yep, it's going to load our stage. Check total players. So here we go. This might be where we're... Yep, here we go. So we're going to go... This is further down. the sequence here, there's actually going to be another injection here, because it's going to get the opponent ID and their portrait. So I gotta wonder, how many times is this? Let me see how many times I find this routine throughout the game. It may be worth, okay, 3 times. It may be worth just going straight into that and checking for our random option. That way there, I only gotta write it 1 time, and alright, so yeah, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have to do a little more work. Alright. So this whole routine here is just building the tower itself with the names and the portraits, stuff like that. So there's going to be some fixes, or some adjustments made along the way here, because something within the custom ladder we made is not going over too well with it. I'm willing to bet it might just be the frequency of the texture might. It may not be, but let's turn that back to original. See if we're faced with the same crash. Okay, so it's going through the list here. Okay, yeah, we still have the same issue there. So first, you know what? I never did make sure that our ladder structure, our custom one, was good with the increased frequency of texture might turned off. Okay, yeah, looks good. Looks good. We have 1, 2, 3. Fighters, test your might. 1, 2, 3. Test your might. Okay. It's got to be the 30 and a 50 of the endurance IDs. It's like freaking out. Alright, so we pick up here. Checking to see if it's at 5. Actually, let's do this. Let's go back up a little bit. I want to go up a little bit in that. Okay. Alright, so that's that. I'm gonna go back up and see if this is where we're having our issue. Probably is. A5, let's see what is that. That's 5, that's 0. Alright, so value A3 is 132.0 AO. Oh, let's see. Into A5. A5's got a 10. Okay, so this is our first endurance match. Oh, I see. Yep, so here we go. We've got calculate endurance opponents here again. So we might be going back to a second hook just because it's calling this this routine outside of the first ladder generation portion. So and this is where it freaks out because it's not expecting a value as high as 30. That's right, so we will have to do that. We will have to go into this routine here, calculate endurance opponents. Yeah, we'll just have to make a hook for this. Unfortunately, we have to do another hook, but this is the best way. So if this is ever called again somewhere else throughout the game, we're not going to be surprised by it. It's going to be just stored in the actual routine itself. Alright, so we're going to be jumping into here to, where's that, get random endurance opponents. I think 31 was the... .30 is, okay, 30. 30 is a random option, okay. Kind of a long name, but you know. Okay. Let's see. 2BAO. Okay, so it's going to take us back to where we need to be. And all we have to do is we can just hit a return out of here because this is not needed. Should be good. Alright, so we're going to have to do 2A3. I don't think we have to do that part. We can. Alright, so let's see here. So I'm returning here, but I don't. Let's see, tower. Okay, yeah, A0 is the register I want when I return from there. So I think we're all good. Okay, yeah, we're good.
What's up there, Hack Attack? I don't know. What's your randomness? This whole video is about randomness, I guess. As far as opponents' order and sequence and that type of stuff. And some test your mites thrown in there at different frequencies. Well, aha, there's another one. Okay. Okay, so Alright, alright, alright. What's up there, Drew? Oh, nice, dude. That'd be sweet. Goro and Shang Tsung, Ermac? Possibility, I suppose. I mean, I don't know about, Ermac, because, I don't know. It would just be, for me to put something in the game, it would have to be really good. You know, I don't want it to be like a Mugen hack or something like that. If you put like Ermac in there, what are you gonna do for his moves? You would have to make some moves for him, and I don't know, but I mean anything's possible. It just comes down to time and effort. What it comes down to. All right, let's see. 5. A0 is the match. Okay. All right, so do here is yeah. See, to me, that just I don't know, man. This just seems like a repaleted reptile now. He's got everybody else's moves. It doesn't make it really that special to me. It just feels like it would be like a washed down character. Because I mean, we've already got Reptile. Reptile is, I mean, the best ninja. You can probably say. So I mean, if the Reptile we have wasn't, if he wasn't as powerful, then I mean, I think things might be a little different. But I mean, I just don't know what making a generic Air Max gonna do for the game. Let's see, 30 is okay. Randomizer. Yeah, I've got a couple hours under my belt. Yeah, I know. You've been asking about that air throw for Scorpion. I know. I thought about that too. Alright, where was I? Let's see. A2. Okay, so we'll move. Hack attack. I've got mine for I think $600 in decent condition. Depends on how far you want to travel most of the time. I drove about 3 hours in Grand Rapids, Michigan to get mine. Yeah. Alright, so let's see. Let's take a look at our registers because it looks like A2 is being used. Do, do, do. Actually, we can do this. We can take this out of here. And we can put it right here. Alright, so AO equals ladder position. Okay, that should be good. Let's see, what was that here? Ladder opponent. That's what we were doing. The old monitors aren't that tough, honestly. I mean, there's some maintenance, but they're not terrible. They're heavy as hell. That's the worst part about them. I wish someone made an affordable 4x3 large LCD. That would be great. Okay. You guys can't see this, but I am on my other screen here, updating these links. And then we'll launch this and 3370 and see where the next speed bump is. I don't know why they did the ladder like this, but they could have done it a little bit more, a little simpler than this. Hello. No, Drew, if you're asking me, I do not work tomorrow. I'm off until the new year. Up there, Victor? Now it's a party. We got Victor here. Now it's a party.
Oh, Victor's there?
Victor is here. Yep, Victor's here.
Haven't heard from Victor forever. How's he doing?
I'm assuming good. How you doing there, Victor? Yeah, that would be nice. That would be a nice little glitch, I guess. Quote unquote glitch. That's a problem there. Can't have that. We gotta fix that little problem there. Okay, much better. Let's try that again. 322 at 3350, 2800, 3220, 3370, 3350. Okay, that's that one. Victor said hi.
Hi, Victor.
I'm sure he heard you.
Long time no see.
Yep, it's been a while.
It's been a long time since I've heard streaming or anything, so. Long time no see.
Another follower in the chat says, hello, Mrs. Paul. That's Tyrone.
Hello.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yeah, Merry
Hope you
Christmas
guys
is what I
had
was
a
gonna say. Merry Christmas.
had a good Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
It's nice to have you guys here watching the stream on a day like today.
Especially Victor. I haven't heard from Victor in a long time.
Yeah.
Victor's one that I know and love.
This isn't so much too busy. It's more or less around today. Like yesterday was the in-laws. Tomorrow will be some more family. A few days ago was more family, and then my daughter's birthday is coming up as well. So it's Christmas usually ain't
18th.
Christmas usually isn't too busy. It's just the days around it. Yeah, I had a good Christmas, Victor.
I miss you,
Yeah, those were
Victor.
the Game Pro magazines with the fake rumor in it back in the days. I remember that one. Yeah. I'm making bonehead mistakes here. Back down here and fix this other mistake. Man, oh man, SPA2. I wouldn't think so, Victor, because all the palette information is on the ROM chips. Yeah, Hack Attack, I mean, really don't do it for the money, I assure you. The money I do get pays for ROMs for burning them for people or paying for web hosting fees for the website. That's about it. Some Red Bulls here and there.
Nice to hear from Victor. We haven't heard-
It is nice hearing from Victor, isn't it?
It is. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Although he cut his hair, I don't know him now. He's not the same Victor I saw.
I loved his long hair, but alright. I just asked you the other day when I was up here. Last time I was up here. Have you heard from Victor? I haven't heard from Victor.
Oh, that's interesting, Victor. I don't know. That could be. Wait a minute, was this a legitimate midway board or was it a yaw dim? That's going to be the differentiator in that 3370. Drew says hi, by the way.
Hi, Drew. Merry Christmas.
Michael says hey.
Hi, Michael. Merry Christmas. Well, Drew's wife, Merry Christmas, because I know he's on his game. She's chilling.
Who? Oh.
I said, tell his wife, Merry Christmas to you. I know.
Yeah, the wife says Merry Christmas to you and your family, Drew.
I already talked to Michael earlier.
Feliz Navidad. Alright, let's see here.
Especially Victor. I haven't heard from Victor forever.
Yeah. Let's see, 101 FF70, option. Okay. Alright, so we're getting the right direction here. Rank command A9 and 2. Jump here. Ah, I see. So we're gonna compare. There's a hard check for 8 opponents before it decides to jump out of the loop. So we gotta be careful so that doesn't cause us any problems. Parallax, I'm sure, wouldn't mind trying to win that money. But Parallax, he'll tell you he's best at playing the computer. So he's beatable. You can beat him in person, maybe. I couldn't beat him, but I mean, I know people that have beat him. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely gonna. So let me look at this because it's looking for 8 matches here. And say this is the increased frequency of TehDrewsus, having 1 for after every 2 fights. And then we'll make the original one here. I just want to get a visual of alright, so 3 fights, boom, boom, boom. Yep, that's all normal. So the way this would be, actually, let me do it like this. You can get a kind of a visual of what would be going wrong here. So we got 2 fights. Test your might. Test your might. Let's see here. We have a loop counter in here. We have to abide by or change. Let's do this. Alright, so that would be the proposed layout here, I think. Let me see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's after every 2 matches. 2 match, test your might, 2 match, test your might, 2 match, test your might, 2 fights, test your might, 2 fights. Oh, there we go. 2. Actually, that should be right there, it looks like. Eduardo. Yeah, I'll try to balance all that stuff out for sure too. So let's see. So in the normal fight, looks like we got increased 9. We jump up. It does a compared to 8. Alright, so let's check out where this string is, because after we do the 8 portraits, it's going to be our mirror match. And I'm guessing this is going to say mirror match. DC E810. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. So we're going to have to do a hook in here also if we have increased TehDrewsus frequencies. We're going to have to raise this. That's going to be raised to, let's see, what is it? Right now it's 8, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8 too. It just works out that well, I guess. F3. That can't work out like that. What's going on here? Okay, that's why. Yeah, we'll have to raise it to 9. Or else it's going to put mirror match a little early. And as player 1, random endurance, our random ladder with frequency of TehDrewsus is becoming quite the routine here. Getting everything working. Okay. The way they did it, they could have done it a lot better, I think. A lot better. Let's see what this array is composed of. We got here FFDCE990. That is an array. This is quite the long, see how they do this? They're just, instead of doing a loop, they're just kind of going this. Playable on the character select screen in a video, like dragon spins around to reveal, maybe fireball. He's just there right for now. He's just already there. It's after you, when you unlock him, you know, then you'll get some kind of presentation, I'm guessing. Kind of like with MK2. And he'll just be on the character select screen as normal, I'm assuming. That's the way we're going to do it. Ah, there we go. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to add add A5. A3 and A5, okay. Alright, this is becoming tedious at this time of day. Not gonna lie, I am pretty tired. I'm gonna see if I can see where our problems coming in. 'Cause it's we don't have test my frequency increase, so that's not in not anything we have to worry about right now. It's more or less the creation of the fighter portraits and the names, and it doesn't like our endurance IDs, I'm assuming. So if we just went in here and changed this to like 10, and we did 11 and maybe 12, the outcome might be a little different, I'm guessing. Yeah. A little bit different, but you can see there's something I'm missing here. Got a ton of scorpions here. Look at it. Scorpion. I think that would be a little too much because it takes away from kind of Shang Tsung's mysteriousness. I think he has, because he doesn't. It's kind of. I think it's kind of simple in the way that he fights. But I don't know. I mean, it's, if anything's done right, it can be good, I suppose. Yeah. All right. Alright, let me see here. Let me pause that. That's driving me nuts. I've been going for hours now, so. Let's see. I got a few more minutes and I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I've got to take the dog outside and get to bed. Got some more family Christmas stuff to do tomorrow. Let's see. Okay. So I'll just make myself a little note there. So basically what's going on is one thing we've got our endurance IDs that we made higher just for easier calculations. That's causing a slight problem, but there's also, if you notice, there was a problem with yeah, see if we changed them. It'd still have an issue, as you can see here. It's got a bunch of cages and scorpions, so I don't know where those values are coming from, but my ladder ID is on point here, 132,000, and it should be pulling these values here. Oh, you know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. Remember earlier I was telling you about a secondary ladder values that they were using, and I bet it's pulling them from somewhere over here. That's why they're all zeros. We can test that for a sec. We can test it real fast. I don't know why it's doing that, but let's see. Oops, let's do this. There we go. Alright, so if we were just to plug, I don't know, where are they pulling those from? Let's do this. Alright, so that okay, so get next on it ID. That's what's responsible for getting it. Oh, tower, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I might be onto something here. That's 0. Alright, so let's return it in A0.
Yep, I think that's the problem. We gotta add it to. Oh, A1 and A7, A5 and A8. Oh, that's what it is. So A5 is going to have our value, I think. Yes, A5 is going to be our value. Ah, okay. So A9. Alright, so that might solve that issue. One issue, anyways. I'll check that out real fast. And then, win or lose here, I think I'll be calling it a night. But we'll check this out real fast. Alright, let's see here. Up there, Maxi Gonzalez, thanks for the sub. Thanks, Carlos, thank you for the sub. Hope you guys can find some interest in this. Pretty boring stuff, but it is interesting to some. Alright, let's see. Let me update these bookmarks here. And 32. And we'll try this last time. This isn't going to be a fix for the high endurance IDs that are expected, that are out of range of what it's expected. But it will fix the character portrait so they're correct. It should anyways. We'll find out. 32 thing. Okay, I think that's good. Build it and see what happens.
Alright, so if we just plug in some normal endurance values here, let's see what we get. Oh. Let's see. Five, 0. Oh shit! Yeah, that ain't gonna work. That definitely messed up the counter. All right, so revert that. But we'll continue on tomorrow. I'm gonna stop there for the night. I'm dead tired. My eyes are starting to hurt. So thanks for watching, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas. And I will see you guys next time. Hacking some Mortal Kombat. So take care. Have a good night.